Can we just admit, since Charlie Kirk's passing, we've seen a definite move of conservatism away from Christian beliefs, away from traditional beliefs, more onto just an absolute rat race. We see a spread to a point where no one really knows what we even stand for anymore. The infighting, it's absolutely crazy. I think you're going to end up having a liberal style, Christless style, libertarian-esque America populism. Again, some of those things could be great, but some of those things are not the best. It's amazing how our coalition has now become infighting and very selfish. What that's done, you know what that's done? We've lost our eyes on the Virginia race. We've lost our eyes on the New Jersey race. We've lost our eyes on the prizes that we wanted as conservatives to ultimately allow for the Somalian to win in Minneapolis, the Ugandan Muslim to win in New York City, and ultimately for us to lose the 2026 and 2028 races, all because instead of us pointing our angst and our unhappiness with the left, we just keep pointing fingers at ourselves. Also, we're going to discuss how, when we allow government to lead us, what Kristi Noem just said, the Department of Homeland Security just found out that how many people ended up with Social Security numbers. Of those same people, 19 of those were the ones who committed 9/11. However, there was 6,000. You heard that number right. 6,000 Social Security numbers were issued to terror watch list recipients. People who were on the terror watch list, we gave Social Security numbers to. Boy, government does it right, don't they? And then lastly, we're going to discuss, because we've lost our way, what college students are going to be faced with. Did you know the average college student coming out of college right now admires socialism than they do capitalism? Why? Well, it comes down to the brainwashing and the right eating its own. We're actually setting up for probably losses in 26 and 28. And you know what? I'm just to a point now where I've almost lost hope in all conservatives and Republicans. And sometimes we may need to lose. Now, I know that's a hard thing to say. But you know, when we thought Biden was bad, we thought Kamala was bad, we thought Obama was bad, wait till the next set of liberals and communists come around. And then let's see what happens to all these conservatives when they quit infighting and actually start looking back and saying, crap, we messed up. There's a lot to talk about today. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. And you know what? It's Sunday. So while you're watching this video, I really hope you went to church this morning. I really hope that you did a Bible study this morning. I really hope that you were fed, because boy, we have been completely brainwashed, especially even on the conservative right side lately. We're going to discuss all that today. But before we do, remember, there is a giveaway at the end of the video. We're going to be giving away basically something to one of our subscribers, a big packet of stuff, free, just hundreds of dollars worth of gifts that we can't wait to share with a subscriber. So please stay tuned to the end of the video. Also, we'll be doing one on Facebook as well. So we'll actually give two things away today. One will be off the YouTube side, one will be off the Facebook side. Now, let's jump into the stories of the day, because that's why you're here. Now, first, let's start talking about the situation with Kristi Noem, and then we're going to kind of lump everything else in on the second part of the video. But Kristi Noem came out and stated this, and I thought this was just unbelievable, and no one's talking about it. No one is talking about it. She comes out and says 6,000 illegals are on the terror watch list. Of that 6,000, she says 6,000 illegals that are on the terror watch list do have Social Security numbers. So she says of all the people, we have millions and millions and millions we've imported into our nation. And she says of them, she says we've allowed for 6,000 people who were known ties to terrorism have Social Security numbers. That gives them full access to a lot more things here in America. Sarah Adams said this. It says that means that of the 6,000, 19 pulled out 9/11. The question is, Where's the other 5,900 and some odd amount? So are they still here? Are they still causing problems and mischief? Are they the ones causing the issues for the right? Are they the ones that are actually pushing Mamdani and the Somalian leader in Minneapolis? See, here's the thing. We don't know actually who does live here. I love the fact, and here's what I really want us to pay attention to. I love the fact that Republicans worked so strong and so staunchly to get Trump elected, to then turn around and absolutely blow their chances on actually doing anything and supporting Trump. And now, instead of all the things we fought for to elect Trump, now all we want to do is throw stones at each other and break down the base, because that's exactly what we're doing. Now let's go back to what Kristi Noem said. 6,000 illegals that we have on the terror watch list were given Social Security numbers illegally. So what this proves is government was way too big. What this proves is there's people in our government that actually want the worst of us. What this proves is actually civil unrest will probably take place in our lifetime or our children's lifetime at least, because we are allowing infiltration in America. You know, it's kind of like this. When we have work, I imagine if you work for a big company, they have some kind of server protection. They have some kind of virus scan. They have some kind of protection, some kind of subscription that keeps their computer system safe, right? What if all of a sudden they said, we're just going to drop that and allow a virus to get in? All right, so now we're talking about the computers. What about our home? What if all of a sudden we locked every door, set every alarm, but then what we did on the back door, we just said, you know what, let's just leave this back door open, wide open, just straight open, and hopefully nothing will come in. There'll probably be at least an animal, maybe a thief, maybe more problems coming in your back door because you chose to leave it open. There may be a virus coming into the computer because we chose to take our guard down and take the virus scans off, right? See, that's what we're doing in our nation. We're allowing us to lock most of the doors and talk about the borders, but absolutely not really locking all the doors, and we're allowing for the government to be too big and still allow people in to infiltrate America. If I'm going to lock my doors and be secure, I want to make sure all the doors are locked, not one wide open, right? If I want to make sure that all my computers are safe, I'm going to make sure they have those virus scans on there, correct? That would make common sense, wouldn't it? When you allow 20 million people to come in, and of those 20 million, 6,000 are on the terror watch list, and we gave them Social Security numbers, which allows them to either vote, accept Social Security, accept benefits like welfare that we're fighting over right now, or get driver's license, or set policy and standards for communities. You think that's a good thing? You think that's a really good thing? No, but here's the thing. Instead of us talking about that, Tucker Carlson's worried about Ted Cruz. Tucker Carlson's worried about, Mike Huckabee. Matt Gaetz is talking about $7,000. He posts $7,000 on every post. Wow. It's so sad. It is so sad. I never thought that the impact of Charlie passing would destroy the coalition so much. You know what it did? I actually realized how important Charlie was, not on the spiritual side, the conservative side. I knew how strong of a Christian he was. But he kept this wide array of views together. And I'm sorry, Erica and the rest of TPUSA are not going to be able to do that because it is running amok right now. It's running amok. I mean, we have people on the conservative side that will literally go after the conservatives more than they will the liberals. Barack Obama just spoke in New Jersey because he knows how contentious this race is. Republicans are not hardly talking about New Jersey and how it's a winnable race for the governor of New Jersey. You know why? Trump's worried about it. Trump's putting money there. But all your conservatives are not worried about it. They're not talking about Mickey Sherrill. They're not talking about how dangerous she would be. They're not talking about how liberal she is. You know what they're worried about? Conservatives. Destroying their own base. So are they really conservatives? What I've learned is this. Here's what I've learned. Is when people wear the name R, or Republican, or conservative, or traditionalist, or libertarian, none of that means nothing. It's kind of like when people say they call themselves a Christian. It's all about the actions of those people. If I'm a Christian, I'm going to represent that everywhere I go, where people see that action more than actually me telling them. Conservatism's the same way. And what I've realized is if you actually watch what the right is doing, they're absolutely destroying their own. Why are we not talking about what Kristi Noem just said? About how we need to fix the Social Security problem. Instead, we're not talking about that. Why are we not talking about the New Jersey race and how, man, Obama has pushed tons of money and tons of people over there to try to get this person elected? Why are we not talking about Virginia and how there's a real chance for Virginia to stay Republican, a governor, and actually have a Republican AG, things that we need to have, especially in those states, close to D.C., close to the establishment. But instead, we're not talking about them. We want to fight amongst ourselves. It makes no sense to me. Now, we're going to go a little bit deeper on this, but before we do, a word from today's sponsor. I want to take a quick moment to talk about something else that's so important. Government and central banks are on a silver buying spree, skyrocketing the price of silver to all-time highs earlier this month. Trump added silver to the U.S. 2025 critical minerals list, and the Pentagon has been spending billions trying to stockpile it. Defense, AI, and energy are essential for world power, and China, Russia, and the U.S. are all in the race to secure supply chain needs. And the demand cannot keep up. 2025 is the 5th year in a row that silver is actually at a deficit, and the Silver Institute expects this to continue. It's clear the government knows we need to secure this critical metal. We are witnessing the beginning of a massive silver bull market. And guess what? The timing could not be better. And that's why I've waited until now to highlight the sponsor, Dolly Varden Silver, ticker DVS on the New York Stock Exchange. This company could be a huge opportunity for investors. They have an asset, the Kilsalt Valley Project, located in British Columbia's Golden Triangle. This area is home to some of the largest mines in the world, and in the last 3 decades has discovered over 1.2, count that, 1.2 billion ounces of silver worth over $66 billion. Major mining companies have been so desperate to get into this area. Dolly Varden Silver has the leadership, which grew the company from $20 million to $520 million market cap. And that was when it was not even a bull market like it is today. And smart money is following them. Both billionaire mining investors, Eric Sprott and Rick Rule, are shareholders. Now, we've talked about these guys a lot in the mining industry. Check them out. Look at what they're investing in. You know, we've talked about investments, and if you know these two guys, they are the names when it comes to investing in mining companies. Being fully transparent, I've been really on a tangent right now about gold and silver, and this has been my go-to when it comes to silver, Dolly Varden Silver. Dolly Varden has the tools to succeed in the silver bull market, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. When the world powers are fighting to secure the supplies, it's a clear sign. And with the recent pullback in the silver price, they are relatively very cheap. The timing could not be better. The story is a fantastic one. To learn more about Dolly Varden Silver and to learn more how and why you need to look at this company, I'm going to leave a presentation below. You need to check it out, especially when it comes to this area that is so vital to silver mining. What do we talk about when it comes to independence? It's gold and silver. We need more of it. And it's good to see that silver is becoming popular and it's growing. And guess what? It's in a bull market and it looks like it's just starting. Check out Dolly Varden Silver today. I have really gotten to learn a lot about this company, and I think you will enjoy this as an investment as well. Check out Dolly Varden Silver. Again, the link is in the description. This is a game changer for sure. And before we go any further, I want to kind of make a mention to this too. This is what I've told my kids. Before we get in this section, I've almost lost hope in humanity, as in the conservative movement. And before I go any further talking about it, this is why we homeschool. Because I don't trust our government to teach our children. This is why we're very conscientious of who our friends are and who our kids hang out with. Because I don't really trust how people are raising their families now. This is why we're very conscientious of the food system. That's why we raise a lot of our own food, because we don't trust government to tell us what's good and bad, because what we've realized is the track record sucks for the government. Name one thing the government has done has actually been beneficial to you and your family. In the last 70 years, they've not done anything to help truly the American cause. Now, I'm going to state the obvious right here. This is how we're raising our children. You may not like it, and then we're going to keep on going with the video. We can love America and be America first and be a supporter of Trump, but absolutely still love Jesus and be a Christian and realize that Jesus is there's nothing in the Bible that says he's America first. I know that's hard to hear, but that means we love Jesus. And here's something else. The Bible was written by a bunch of Jews. We do realize that, right? Now, have the Jewish people turned away from God? Absolutely. Absolutely. Has America turned away from God? Absolutely. I love hearing J.D. Vance and Trump talk about Jesus more. That's awesome. We need revival. What I'm worried about is because the left is living a life of complete and utter debauchery and going fully away from Christ. I'm sad to say I think the right is doing that too. And people in the conservative Christian movement, I feel like, are being left out. Now, the reason I wanted to point that out is this. Turning Point, I think they don't know where to go from here. They're trying to stay close to heritage and conservatism and what Charlie wanted. At the same time, they're still allowing for Tucker to have a platform, still saying that they're against Nick Fuentes. However, Tucker is platforming Nick Fuentes. So I think they're scared to figure out what to do, and I don't think they know the answer. And this is, again, why Charlie was so impactful, and I believe his loss is the biggest loss we will see in the conservative movement for millennia. I do believe that. And I believe the left knows that, and that's why they're exploiting it. You know, here's what else I learned, is that we are so selfish as a people that we all think we know all the right answers, and we don't. And it scares me because we see so many people on the right think they're so right that they're willing to cast out the other people of the right instead of trying to work together and actually go towards the left. So that's what Charlie was good at. No matter how much you dogged out each person of his coalition, he knew they all didn't get along at these turning point events. He knew they were not on the same page. But he put them at a common goal to go for the left. And we've lost that. Now, Trump has stayed above the fray for a long time. And so has J.D. Vance. Actually, I've been very proud of them. But I do believe they need to come out and address this, because if not, they're going to see their base shatter. I've actually lost hope in the conservative movement as a true conservative. You know why? Because I feel like I've been left out. Because I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian. I believe in raising my own food, so that means I don't trust FDA and USDA. That means I don't actually believe every doctor and pharma that what they tell us is correct, because I do believe they've been biased. I do believe that gold and silver is the way, not crypto. I do believe that having things to defend yourself is the right thing, the right to bear arms, that we're kind of losing on both sides, by the way. Both sides are actually pushing against this. Also, here's what I do believe too. I can be America first and still support Israel. I can be a Christian and still want the people of Nigeria and Sudan to be safe from this Islamic terrorist. I can be America first and still think that we should get the drugs away from us. That means we should watch what Venezuela's doing. I could be a conservative and want the best for America and still want America to thrive and not support the abuse of our government with EBT cards and welfare. See, here's the thing. We on the right get on these high horses, and we get on these the hills to die on, and then we basically alienate every other part of the base, and then all of a sudden we want to win. That shows that we're a loser mentality on the right. And here's what I mean. I'm not just dogging out the right, but here is what I am saying. The right is dogging out itself, and it's literally eating its own. It's scary to me how bad we hate each other, to where then we take our eyes off the real prize of winning elections and working as a coalition to stop the left. While we're fighting, we have Zohran Mamdani going to win New York City. While we're fighting, we have Fatah to win Minneapolis. That's probably not how you say his name. Geez, I don't know how to say his name. He's not from here. He's Somalian. While we're fighting, we cannot, condemn what the left is doing. I want to read this that Nicki Minaj said, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen too many true conservative influencers come out in support of Trump and what he's doing for the Christians in Nigeria, other than his administration. I ain't seen Tucker Carlson, I ain't seen Candace Owens, I've not seen Ian Carroll, I've not seen Dave Smith, but listen to what Nicki Minaj says. It's sad that I'm like, wow, good job. Give Nicki Minaj a clap. John Fetterman too. Both of them are acting more conservative than the conservatives. Reading this, and she's talking about Donald Trump's post on Nigeria and how Christians are being persecuted there and how Trump wants to go after these people that are getting murdered in Sudan and Nigeria. Most of them are black Christians, and they're getting killed by Islamists. Listen to what Nicki Minaj says. Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other's. Numerous countries all over the world are being affected by these horrors, and it's dangerous to pretend that we don't notice. Thank you to this president and his team for taking it seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember them in prayer. Now, that was more honest than just about every other Republican conservative on the right now. John Fetterman said the same thing. He came out in support of what Trump was doing in a lot of these places. But Rand Paul, man, he is just so mad about what Trump is doing in Venezuela. Rand Paul didn't come out in support of what Trump said about the Christians in Nigeria. See, this is what happens when you don't have people on the right that actually care. They're not humble. They have no meekness. They have no humility. All they know is they want to be top, and they want to grandstand, and they want to be first, instead of actually promoting conservatism and going after the left. Candace Owens has changed the story about Charlie Kirk 15 times. Now the Mormons have done it. Have you heard this one? I mean, the Mormons have done it. Now, I'm not a Mormon fan, but the Mormons did, then the Egyptians did, then Israel did it, then Trump did it, then TPUSA did it, then Erica did it. She's getting 10 million views a day instead of actually saying, why don't we support the New Jersey Republican governor? Why don't we support Winsome Sears in Virginia? Why don't we actually see the left for what they're doing in destroying America? My kids have to grow up in the same America that now supports socialism. There's a new study that came out that said that college students and people coming out of public school systems and university prefer socialism over capitalism. You know why? Because socialism sounds good. It sounds like we're getting a lot of free stuff and it's all for free and we're going to be happy and not have debt and the country's going to live happily ever after, like a Disney movie. So everybody believes, well, if government's just going to give everybody free stuff, then we should be happy with that. That is true happiness. So they're preaching utopia and giving dystopia. New Mexico just came out in full support of they're going to give free health care for every child in New Mexico. Let's read the story. It says they're going full socialist with daycare, and it might actually work. This is what the article says. New Mexico just became the first state to offer free child care for everyone. No income tested, no means tested, just free. Teachers are about to save. One teacher is about to save $12,000 a year in daycare because she couldn't pay for her daycare along with having a mortgage and her propane. And they said this is actually helping family. So you see how they do that? They spin that and say, well, see, government does help us. We need lower health care rates. We need free health care. We need free babysitters. We need free daycare. We need free food. Nothing is free, people. It all comes with strings. And to think that this is going to work. You know what the article doesn't address? Who's going to pay for it? They based it on the European model. They said, well, you know, in Scandinavian countries, they do this. Well, yeah, at the same time, the Scandinavian countries charge 50 to 55% taxable increase. And it's smaller countries, so they can tend to rip their people off, and people don't have freedoms there. It's definitely more socialist, and so therefore, they should embrace it. They have to. See, socialism, there's never a time where socialism was voluntarily done and that it was accepted. Socialism leads to communism, which means for most countries to falter. However, instead of the Republicans pushing that narrative and showing how dangerous socialism communism is, we go out and we give kudos to it. Go back and watch Tucker Carlson, what he said about Maduro. He's going against Trump on Maduro. Maduro is pushing for more communism, socialism programs. His people are living in poverty, but they don't have abortion and they don't have, LGBT rights. That's great. That's awesome. But instead of saying those things are good, but everything else about Maduro is bad, Tucker actually kind of brags on Maduro in what they're doing. He brags on Qatar with Sharia law. So instead of us condemning it and actually focusing our efforts on making sure that communism, socialism doesn't grow in America, people like Tucker Carlson, for instance, and all these people are actually supporting it. And now you're starting to see universities and school systems that were once moving towards conservatism is actually moving towards Christless socialism and populism, which populism can be good in some facets, but what we're actually seeing is a movement towards more liberal views. Can we just admit that that is wrong? Can we just admit that that doesn't make sense? Can we just admit that Tucker Carlson is wrong, but at the same time, Dan Crenshaw and Mitch McConnell is wrong too? Can we just admit that if we're going to follow the president that we all elected, what's so funny is Dan Crenshaw and Tucker Carlson does not represent Trump? Can we just admit that? If we all wanted to elect Trump, most of us are not from the same circles anyway. So instead of us pushing Trump's narrative, what we're all doing is then we're infighting and actually losing the focus on what Trump's trying to do. You know, Trump's investing in those countries. You know, Trump is actually trying to help Christians around the world. You know, Trump is actually trying to go for peace. But instead of us bragging on those things, then we condescend and we, again, go out in chaos for the right. And as the right is falling to pieces, the left is growing stronger and stronger. And now the universities and colleges that we said D is eyes out of, that we said that we're going to fix, that we said is not going to indoctrinate our children anymore, are coming out more in love with socialism than capitalism. All because we took our eyes off actually what the prize was to defeat the left. Honestly, I knew the loss of Charlie was going to be a big deal for the conservative Christian movement. I never knew how much it would destroy the right. Because now it's honestly like it's such a virus that is eating away at the base. And honestly, I do believe we will lose the next presidential election, all because we can't stand together. And it's actually caused me to lose hope. But you know what? I go back to one thing. My hope is in Jesus. My hope is in raising my family different than the world. My hope is being in a church that is following God and building from the community. Does that mean America will thrive forever? I honestly don't believe so. Not doing this. Not allowing Muslims to get Social Security numbers and blow us up. Not allowing for Muslims to take over these big cities. And not allowing for communism to rule. I don't believe America has a chance. So while the infighting of the right happens, we're going to see the destruction of our country. So now my push is to you, not to try to get in touch with Trump. Not to try to impact Tucker Carlson. My push for you is to be responsible for your children. Because if you don't teach your children different than all this, they're going to end up like all this. And one day you're going to look back and say, I made mistakes. Because one day I think we're all going to look back and say, boy, the right had their chance right here. We had the conservative Senate, we had the Congress, we had the Supreme Court, we had the presidency, and we blew it. All because we wanted to prove each other wrong instead of actually working towards destroying the left. And that's heartbreaking to me. So my goal this week has been to push my children to understand what we believe, who we are, why we believe what we believe, and then teach them to love Jesus, to love their family, to support each other, to be independent, and to stay away from anything the world says, no matter who's saying it. Find the true mentors that are representing Christ first. Because when we represent Christ first, that puts everything else in perspective. When we go America first, that doesn't put everything in perspective. When we go Israel first, that don't put everything in perspective. When we go Qatar first, or when we go Tucker first, or when we go Candace first, or when we go Colby first, when we go selfishly, it puts nothing in perspective. But when we put Christ first, it puts everything in perspective. That's the key. Now, let's go to some fun things. Let's go and give away 2 things to subscribers today. This is first from the the YouTube side, and then we'll do the Facebook side. And then again, all you got to do is reach out to us via email. My email is in the description below. That way we can get these gifts to you. So the winner of the YouTube side that basically is commenting and being a part of our community, again, it means the world to us. The winner on the YouTube side is Isabel Marion. Her handle is Isabel Marion 5679. You were selected. Again, this is all randomly. What we do is put this in a random selector and it pulls these names out. So for October, Isabel Marion 5679, reach out to us via email, and that way we can get a big prize package to you and get your address and all that stuff. Don't share it on comments on the YouTube. Simply email us so that way it can be secure and we can get this back to you. Now the winner for the Facebook side is also someone who is, subscribed to us on the YouTube and then came over to Facebook. The winner for Facebook is Kara Murdoch. Kara Murdoch, you won the Facebook side of the giveaway this time. So please reach out to us via email so that way we can get this to you as well. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Lately we've been speaking a lot of truth and we've actually been held down again. So make sure you're sharing our content. It means the world to us. Our goal is to talk about conservatism, talk about prepping, talk about living sustainable, and most of all, representing Christ in all that. Representing Christ, that's all it comes down to for me and my family. We hope that you enjoyed your day at church. We hope you enjoyed your family today, and we hope that you're teaching them not what the world wants, but what God wants. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.